Have you ever questioned what lurks in the shadows when you're alone at night? Imagine, if you will, the quiet tick of a clock, the soft sigh of a house settling, and the distant hum of a refrigerator. All is calm, all is ordinary. But then, a creak echoes from an empty room, a chill sweeps through the space, and a shadow flickers where no shadow should be. A tale, you may think, as old as time. Stories of unseen horrors, chilling occurrences that take place right where we feel most secure, our homes. A friend once shared such an experience. A quiet evening turned into a night of inexplicable events. Doors slamming shut on their own, lights flickering without reason, and a sense of an unseen presence, always just out of sight. Ordinary, everyday objects turned eerie and ominous. But what if these weren't just random, unexplained events? What if something sinister was behind them? This tale starts with an ordinary man, living an ordinary life, until one night everything changes. Meet our protagonist, an average man, leading a life as mundane and predictable as the ticking of a clock. His life was a placid stream, flowing with the rhythm of routine, until one fateful night, when the tranquility was shattered by a series of inexplicable events. His house, once a sanctuary of peace, began to echo with eerie sounds. The soft padding of phantom footsteps echoed through the silent corridors, breaking the stillness of the night. Doors creaked open and slammed shut of their own accord, as if invisible hands were playing a macabre game. Objects moved, shifted and relocated, defying the laws of physics and logic, as if the house itself was coming alive. Our man, initially dismissive, attributed these bizarre events to his overactive imagination. A trick of the mind, perhaps. Maybe it was the wind, he thought, or the house settling, or even a rodent infestation. But as these incidents continued to manifest and escalate, it became increasingly difficult to brush them off. The once comforting silence of his home was now replaced with the haunting orchestra of inexplicable sounds and movements. Every creak, every rustle, every inexplicable shuffle began to gnaw at his sanity. The walls of his house seemed to close in on him, the shadows growing darker and the nights longer. His home no longer felt like his own, but a stage for an unseen entity. As the days turned into weeks, the man found himself trapped in a chilling cycle of fear. Each night brought with it a new wave of terror, each more horrifying than the last. The phantom footsteps grew louder, the doors swung open and shut with more force, and the objects moved with startling intent. It wasn't just his imagination, and it wasn't just natural causes. Something was amiss. As each night passed, the events grew more horrifying, pushing the man to the brink of insanity. In the depths of despair and fear, the man decides to seek help. Drowning in a sea of terror, he reaches out to a group of paranormal investigators. His plea for assistance is both urgent and desperate. A home should be a sanctuary, but his has become a nightmare. He hopes that these experts can shed some light on the terrifying incidents that have been plaguing him. The team of investigators, seasoned in the paranormal, arrive with an arsenal of tools and a shared sense of purpose. They are a beacon of hope in the man's world of darkness. They start their investigation by performing a series of meticulous tests, each one designed to detect any unusual activity, from capturing electronic voice phenomena to monitoring temperature fluctuations. Every corner of the house is thoroughly examined. As the investigation deepens, the team decides to perform a series of rituals. These are not the stuff of movie fantasies, but rather grounded in centuries-old traditions aimed at revealing the unseen. The house echoes with the solemn words of incantations, creating an atmosphere that is both eerie and electrifying. As the rituals progress, a chilling revelation emerges. The house, once thought of as a mere structure of bricks and wood, is the dwelling place of a malevolent entity. The investigators are no strangers to the supernatural, yet even they can't hide their shock. This is no ordinary haunting. The entity they've unveiled is ancient, powerful, and filled with a darkness that is bone-chilling. The man's worst fears are confirmed. His home, his sanctuary, is under the influence of a force that is beyond his understanding. But this knowledge does not bring relief. Instead, it amplifies his terror. The entity is not a figment of his imagination, but a horrifying reality. The discovery was chilling, but it was only the beginning of the true horror. The man now knows what he's up against, but knowing is only half the battle. The real question is, can he survive the terror that awaits him? He's standing at the precipice of a nightmare, staring into the abyss. Will he fall, or will he fight? Only time will tell. Armed with the knowledge of the entity, the man and the investigators braced themselves for a battle of a lifetime. The air, heavy with anticipation, seemed to hum with a palpable dread. The very walls of the house groaned under the pressure of the unseen as the entity, sensing the impending confrontation, reared its malevolent presence. The man, though terrified, stood his ground. The investigators, well versed in such matters, began their incantations, their words slicing through the suffocating darkness. The struggle was no less than a battle between light and shadow, each moment stretching into what felt like eternity. Despite the entity's desperate attempts to cling onto its refuge, the determined force of the investigators began to weaken its hold. The house shook, objects flew, the air turned icy, a last-ditch effort by the entity to maintain its dominion. But the man and the investigators did not falter. As the last word of the incantation echoed through the house, a sudden stillness took over. The entity defeated was banished, its sinister presence eradicated, leaving behind an almost tangible sense of relief. The man was left in peace, but the experience left him forever changed. He had faced his fears, stared into the abyss, and emerged victorious. But victory came with a price, a haunting memory of the unseen horrors that lurked in the dark corners of the world. The man's ordeal was over, but the implications of his experience were far-reaching. This tale, a chilling reminder of the unseen horrors that may lurk around us, underscores the profound impact of such encounters on our lives. It nudges us to question the boundaries of our reality, to consider the existence of entities beyond our comprehension. It leaves us pondering in the quiet corners of our minds, the delicate balance between the natural and the supernatural. So, the next time you hear a strange noise in the night, ask yourself, what truly lurks in the shadows?